Hi everyone, this is Kerrie from Conversations at Kerrie's Corners. How are you? I have not been in this week. This is my first podcast of the week, and it's an important one because there's some changes happening, and I wanted to share that with you, and a very important podcast indeed. Hope this message finds you doing great on this Friday. First week in November is done. The first month of our government shutdown is done. And we're not going to get into that today, although I would really love to get into that today. But we're going to hold that off for the second podcast of the week. This one is going to be a little bit different, and I'm going to talk a little bit about, first of all, what is this podcast about? It's about conversations. Getting others to talk about issues so we in this community, this United States community, can resolve some of our differences, hopefully. We used to be able to do that. We used to be able to talk to each other, and we used to be able to resolve our issues like normal individuals. That seems to have left our wheelhouse. We don't seem to be able to do that any longer. So this podcast is all about that. And I started it after the election last year because I just could not believe how intense that process was and how much of a Herculean effort it took from all of conservative America to make that happen. And so in that process, I realized just how divisive the entire process is. And so to heal that, I thought the best way we could do that is to try to bring up subjects that are important to everybody, that I can share with my circle of influence, and then you can share, and so far. And when that happens, it has a tendency to create this dialogue, which then gets out to the masses, and hopefully along the way, some changes can start to happen where we can bridge this divide that we are living with in the United States of America. And it's bad. I mean, it's really bad. We're 35 days into a shutdown because of the lack of communication that happens in this country. Now it's on a federal level, and now Americans truly are being punished. A couple of changes that are going on. Conversations at Kerrie's Corner is part of my Kerrie's Corner brand. That it's a small DIY company where we help individuals do DIY projects in their home, remodels. We can put together videos for you, so the middle class can keep some money in their pocket instead of spending it on really expensive contractors. And so that's what Kerrie's Corner is about. I am launching a new branch of Kerrie's Corner next week. It's called Coffee at Kerrie's Corner. It is a coffee storefront where you can go on and buy amazing coffee beans or pods or instant coffee, tea, and matcha, along with all the great accessories that you need to make the best coffee you can at home. 70% of Americans drink coffee 3 times a day or more. I do. I'm guilty. By the end of the day, though, I do switch to decaf because I do realize that I can't drink it all day long. But I probably have 2 caffeinated and 2 non-caffeinated, decaffeinated coffees. Coffee is one of those things that it's a great conversation starter too. Sit down and have a cup of joe. Sit down and have a cappuccino. So the storefront will be available. You can go on and it'll all be drop shipped to you. Whatever it is that you're looking for, including coffee machines, grinders, all the great accessories to make really good coffee in your home. So that's starting next week. I'm very excited. Another part of that actually is our mobile coffee cart service, which will be a mobile service where we will come to you and deliver world-class coffee drinks. Cappuccinos, espressos, lattes, just regular coffee, tea, matcha, you name it, frappuccinos, iced coffee, lattes. It'll all be done with our mobile coffee service at your location, whether it's a party or a public gathering, a wedding, whatever you're looking for, whatever kind of event you have, we will come to you and we'll make our magic happen at your location. So I'm excited about that. I really am. I love coffee. I've always loved coffee. My mother started me on this journey when I was a teenager. She used to make the best iced coffee every weekend, and my brothers and I, we'd fight over it every weekend. So she got me started many, many years ago, and I'm excited about it. It's a new venture that my husband and I are very, very excited to get going and launch and make available to all of you. Some changes. I'm changing my channels a little bit. I don't want to say I'm making my messages broader, but maybe to a wider audience. There is a very specific target that I'm looking for. I'm a baby boomer. I'm the last batch of baby boomers, and we sort of are living in different times. We are the first quote-unquote portion of the baby boomers that we're having some trouble. There's a lot of us struggling. There's a lot of us working longer. There's a lot of us still trying to retire. Some people will never be able to retire. So it's a new problem with this age group, 60 and older. And so I'm making some changes, and I am very unapologetically a conservative baby boomer, and I've got a lot of reflections that I want to talk about. A lot of things, from politics to family to relationships to being a business owner to owning property to being an immigrant coming to this wonderful country, living an American dream. I have very, 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 very specific ideas and values, and I know that there's a lot of people out there that feel just like I do, that are in this particular niche, 60 and older, and we are the largest segment of the population as well. So, we're kind of looked over, and I want to change that. I want our voices to be loud, proud, and taken for what they are, and given the respect and weight that we have earned in 40 plus years of being adults. We brought this country to the greatest levels of its success, and in the last 10 to 15 years, our leadership has really let us down. So we're going to talk about all that. So I am unapologetically a conservative baby boomer, and I've got a lot to reflect on, and so that is the theme of all of my channels, all of my videos. I also do, on my YouTube channel, I do some makeup for all of us girls and guys that are in our 60s, because you know what? We look damn good, and we need to be loud and proud about it. And I think it's a great opportunity to come together and talk about the challenges that we face as we age. What happens to our skin, our hair, what happens to our ability to buy our clothing and fit within a budget, and just talk about all of those things that are important to this segment of the population. And I know this because I have people talking to me about it all the time. So it's a new look, it's a new direction, but it's touching on the things that I have been touching on before. But I am not going to apologize that I'm a conservative entrepreneur in the state of Texas, a legalized alien that came to the United States, that has lived the American dream. I have worked damn hard to be in the position that I am. And so we're going to talk about all that in my podcast. I try to do 2 a week. This week it may just be one, but the next one is definitely going to be talking about the shutdown. I have serious issues with this shutdown. But today I wanted to talk about a personal side of our generation. The baby boomers are all over 60 now, and we're starting to fall apart. We're starting to have a lot of medical issues. It happens. Age is a unfriendly companion. My husband calls it damage because it's the damn age that catches up to us and starts to invade and change our lives. Some of us more drastically than others. And it is really amazing the gamut of problems that seem to really become day-to-day challenges once you get to 50, and then once you get to 60, they're full on need your attention. And so today I want to talk to you about one of those areas that many of us find ourselves in, and that's being a caregiver. Our segment of the population has a lot of sickness, including the older two generations ahead of us. They're different, though, than the health issues from the younger generations. The younger generations have a lot of addiction issues. They have a lot of eating issues, a lot of stress-related issues. Our generation seems to have a lot of skeletal and disease issues. And I myself am a caregiver now. My husband and I, my amazing husband and I, have been married for 34 years. We've been together since January 2nd, 1990. And, no, January 1st. Sorry, we met on New Year's, so technically 1st of January. And we've never been apart. We have 3 children. We have his, mine, and ours. And we've lived a wonderful life. We've had horrific challenges. We've managed. We had a blended family, survived it. Don't know how, but we did. We've got 2 boys and a girl, and they're all in their 30s. We have 4 grandchildren. We live in Texas on 2 acres in a beautiful restored farmhouse, which is one of my truly great passions in my life, is Americana and farmhouses, interior design. And a month ago, our life was turned upside down. We've been trying for 5 years to get an accurate diagnosis on my husband's health, and it's been deteriorating since 2019. We've been to 5 neurologists. Yeah, 5. The 4th one finally saw what we had been talking about for 4.5 years. Sent us to a specialist here in the Houston Methodist Center, and my husband has been diagnosed with ALS. It's a terrifying disease. It is a ruthless disease. It steals lives. Young people, old people can get this disease. Middle-aged people can get this disease. Anybody can get this disease. And suspecting it is one thing, which I did for about 5 months. But then hearing the diagnosis is a completely different reality. And so 2 days of back-to-back, hour after hour testing, meeting with one of the leading specialists with ALS in the Houston area, and our life changed. The look of our life has to change. What we do in our life is changing. How we live our life is changing. It's a ruthless disease that steals away your loved one, the person that's suffering with it, the things that they love to do. My husband is one of those men that loves his yard and his land and all of that, and taking care of his house and fixing and just working on cars, and a lot of those things now he can't do. And it is a difficult thing as a caregiver to watch, because as caregivers, you want to fix, you want to be there, you want to find solutions, you want to offer solutions, you want to help. And this disease doesn't give us a lot of options. And as a caregiver, with my A personality, that drives me batty, that I can't provide what he needs so he can feel better, so he can do the things that he loves to do. Because my husband's only 65. We recently went to see my dad, and my dad is 88, and it was a big wake-up call for me. I realized in those 3 days how ruthless this disease is and what it does to you physically. It's unforgiving. It's voracious. It has no pause. It seems to get more ravenous with each day. Luckily for my husband, he is one of the lucky ones that has a slower progressing form of this horrible disease. But it's still ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. So all those things that we have wanted to, waiting for our retirement, because we're both still working full-time. My husband still works full-time and will continue to do that as long as he can to battle this disease. The minute you stop, the minute that starts to deteriorate, and we just will not let that happen. So all these wonderful things that we wanted to do and places that we wanted to go, we've got to reevaluate that all now to physically make it possible for him to do it and enjoy it. The last thing I want to do is drag him around somewhere where he's, one, can't do it, and two, is going to be miserable and it doesn't enjoy the whole experience. So all of that has to change. That entire thought process has to change. It is a very challenging position to be in. I saw this with my mom, who was sick for 4 months, and my brothers and my dad and I were basically her caregiver, and we took rotations. I don't have anybody to help me with rotations. It's me. And there needs to always be support mechanisms for patients with this disease, but also the caregivers, because it is a emotionally, physically, psychologically exhausting process as a caregiver, because we always want to help that person be better, to feel better, to function better. Sorry, just had to get rid of that phone call. So if you find yourself in the position that you are a caregiver, and there's a lot of us, because we're in this age in our lives where these things are starting to creep in and become so common, it's important to get with a good network of support, whether that's your family, whether it's actual support groups, depending on what you're battling, church, obviously your kids, your friends. It's really important to really take stock of where you are, what you think you're going to need, and be organized. Like in anything, the more organized you are, the more knowledge you have, the more power you have, so the more successful you're going to be at this challenge. One of the I know that I've said this several times to some of my family and friends, and we got the diagnosis, and I was actually relieved. And I said, how could you be relieved? Because I know. Not knowing for 5 years was driving me batty. Because I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a treatment plan. I didn't know what was happening. He didn't know what was happening. Nobody could tell us what was happening. It was the same story over and over again. Knowledge is power, and taking that information that we now have, that power and information that we now have, we can move forward. Medicine, routine, therapy, changes, disability, all these things that are now part of our life that become part of the patient's life and the caregiver's life, because there is a lot. Let me tell you, I came home with 60 pages of things from this clinic. And there's a lot to do. There's a lot to be organized. There's a lot to apply for. And it can get a bit overwhelming. I would say in the a month. It's been a month today, actually. We got the diagnosis. I've had 2 really bad days where it just all comes and runs over you like molasses, and you think, how I can't breathe, I don't know what I'm doing, how am I going to manage, how's he going to manage, what's going to happen, are we going to stay in our home? There's just a million things that come into play when you are battling a life-threatening disease with a loved one. But I do want to give you some hope, because there are amazing networks of support. And what I was told, and I now understand why I was told this, is not to think that you can manage all of this on your own, because you can't. It's too much. We're not capable of managing all of it. Work, disability, medicine, treatments, home, work, your health, their health, family issues, holidays, getting the car oil changed. I mean, it's impossible to try to do it all on your own. And so reach out to whatever organizations you're a part of, use them, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And you got to talk about it. You got to have hard conversations. And it's not easy to have those conversations. We had so many conversations with my parents, and my brothers and I thought we were ready, and then Mom got very sick and passed within 4 months, and we weren't ready. We thought we were. We weren't. Because life doesn't work on our time schedule. Life happens the way it's going to happen, and we don't have control over that. And when you're a control freak like I am, that's not easy. You got to learn immediately that you've got to go with what happens every day. Deal with it one day, 1 hour, 1 afternoon, 1 week, 1 month at a time. And do the best that you can do. My parents told me my whole life, all you can do is the best that you can do. And if you put the effort into it, and you can look in the mirror and say, I have done everything I can possibly do, then that is all we can do. But it's not easy. It is not easy. And I'm sure there's going to be days where I've already had 2. I just lose my grip. The key is I have to not beat myself up over that, and just know that it's part of the process. As caregivers, it's vitally important that we take care of ourselves, because we're no good to our loved ones that we're taking care of if we're not taking care of ourselves, right? Kind of defeats the whole purpose, doesn't it? So you got to take care of yourself. You got to take time for yourself. You got to get downtime. You got to get away time, and you got to get regroup time. And you got to ask for help. Most importantly, when you need it, you got to ask for it, and don't hesitate. And actually demand it from those that are in your support tree. Your family, your kids, your extended family, your church family, your work family. It's all part of being in that network of love for the person who's not well and the person who's taking care of that person. And demand it. I will. For sure. I've learned that already in a month. And I wish you Godspeed and grace and healing and comfort and strength and courage, because you're going to need them all. But you can do it. I am going to do it. And I'm going to make sure that every single day is a good day, and that we both live our lives to the best that we can every single day. And if we don't reach the goals that I want for the day, I have to learn to say, okay, well, we maybe didn't get all of it, but we got some of it. Not compromise, just be realistic. Realistic in what we can and we can't do. That's not easy for an A personality, but I'm working on it, and so can you. So thanks for joining me today, wherever you are. I hope whatever situation this resonates with you, that you find peace and comfort and support. Know you're not alone. Know there's millions of people out there doing the same thing. And just ask for the help that you need. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes we get it in our head that we can't do that, and we really can. It's just pick up the phone or send an email or a text message and say, you know what? I really need you today. And then make people accountable. You have to do that too. Because your loved one deserves it, and so do you. Have a great weekend, everyone. Many blessings to you. Get out there and get off social media. Go for a walk or take a picnic or do something. But get out of the house, get off the phones and the iPads and the tablets, and spend time with your loved ones. We do not do enough of that. And we must learn to decompress and stop the constant bombardment of these implemented machines that we use now every day, 20 hours a day. We've got to let our brain waves stop, decompress, and unwind. When you can do that, you're going to feel much better. Turn the phones off at least an hour before you go to bed every night. Don't pick it up. If it rings, if it buzzes, if you get a message, you gotta stop at least an hour every night before you go to bed, and let your mind and your body deprogram and decompress, so you can really fall into that deep, restful, rejuvenating sleep. And you need at least 7 hours. That's the golden number. And I hope you find that. I really do. I hope you have a remarkably good weekend. I'd love to hear from you. So please like, share, subscribe, do all those good things. Please share this with your circle of influence. And I'm looking forward to the new direction. I'm not ashamed to say that I am a conservative. I'm not going to apologize for being one. I have convictions, and I'm going to stick to them. And I'm a baby boomer who is in the stage of life where it's not exactly what I had hoped or thought, but it's going to be spectacular. And we have a lot left to say, a lot left to live, and we as a group need to make sure we're being heard, because we're a remarkable generation and we need to be proud of it. And live our lives to the fullest every single day. It's a gift to see a new day every day, and we have to remember every day is a new gift and live it to the best that we possibly can, and love each other along the way, and talk to each other along the way. So thanks for joining me at Conversations at Kerrie's Korner. Look for the coffee shop, Coffee at Kerrie's Korner, and stop by and visit the DIY company, Kerrie's Korner. Lots of K's. Those are after my brothers. I have 2 brothers, and they're both a K. I'm a Kerrie, and my mom had a store called Kerrie's Korner growing up. So this is all in her honor. She was a remarkable woman that taught me everything I know, and I miss her every day. But she's in my ear and in my heart and in my brain every day. And I know she's proud, because I know she's watching from that beautiful place in heaven, where someday I'll join her, but I hope not until many days from today. Have a great weekend. This is Kerrie from Conversations at Kerrie's Korner. See you the next time.